What's up, guys? I'm Mike D'Antonio, founder and CEO of StockedUp. Welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a very exciting episode for you guys here today. The tech sector took a beating today. The market overall definitely did not have the best day. We saw the Dow down over 350 points. Amazon fell by 3.6%. Tesla down about 5%. Apple down about 4.5%. And Microsoft down also about 4.5%. Google down about 3%. Overall, the tech sector took a beating with the NASDAQ being down close to 3%. So overall, we had a pretty exciting day in the market to the downside. And we had Microsoft and Tesla end up in the red for earnings. So there are a lot of great plays setting up in the market right now, a ton of amazing opportunities, and we do have some pretty important news for you guys in tonight's video, so make sure you stick around to the end. And we're also going to be covering a lot of amazing setups towards the end of this video. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe to see our daily videos on your YouTube homepage every single day. So with that being said, Tom, what's some of the major news that happened in the market today?
Yeah, the best news was that right as the market closed today, Intel actually hammered way down, falling 10% on some terrible news as their next generation chips are being delayed, and AMD shares actually went higher on this news. And it was just a big 10% drop. And Intel said Thursday that their gross margin fell to 53.3%, which is the lowest in 11 years, which was all the way back in 2009. Which is amazing for Intel. Well, not amazing, but amazing movement on Intel, 10% to the downside. They're trading about $54 per share right now. And at close today, they closed at around $60.15. Nobody was anticipating a move this large. So the puts are really going to skyrocket tomorrow on Intel. And if we go on over to AMD's chart, they are up huge in after hours as well. They closed at 60 and now they're sitting at around $64 to $65 a share, which is amazing for AMD. And they had great news yesterday as well. So this is just adding on to AMD's momentum to the upside.
Absolutely. So like Tom just said, nobody was expecting a move this big to the downside. So Intel had a huge move down. Everyone was only expecting like about a 4% move to the downside. But like Tom said, they're sitting almost 10% down. So if they open up around the levels they are currently at, the puts are going to skyrocket tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind. And we also had some news, or not really like official news, but we're just observing that the U.S. and China relations are getting worse and worse. So the U.S., as I'm sure a lot of you guys already heard about this, is they're ordering the Chinese consulate to close their embassy in Houston, right? And, that's not the best news. The U.S. said that it's like a hub for Chinese spies, blah, 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 right? But either way, the way that we are looking at this for the market is historically when the U.S. and China get in a fight, it's normally not the best for the market because they're both two huge economies and they definitely have a big influence on the global economy. So China said that they are already going to retaliate from this embassy closure news. And Pompeo also was slamming China in a press release today. So there's no official news with China, nothing specific that we're eyeing out, but we're just eyeing out the situation because when the U.S. and China get in a fight, it's really not the best for the market. Historically, the market does fall when the U.S. and China retaliate against each other and when their relations are bad. So if the U.S. retaliates back at China and China retaliates back again, then that can definitely affect the market in a bad way. And another thing that I saw that was very interesting but also slightly scary today is that there was a $1.3 billion market on close sell order today. So basically someone sold $1.3 billion worth of shares right at the close today. So that's interesting to see. The market definitely had a pretty big down day. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, within the next couple weeks or months even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a lot of money going into the market down, especially just for one trade.
Exactly. So pretty much someone sold $1.3 billion right at close. So it's obviously not a good sign. So definitely keep that in mind. And then another thing too is, like we just said, Intel puts as long as Intel stays around the level it is right now in after hours, which is around $54. If Intel opens up anywhere around that level tomorrow or lower, the puts are absolutely going to skyrocket. And that's because no one was expecting Intel to fall this low. However, Tom, if you could pull up a chart of the Tesla options chain, is pretty much, guys, with options, you could lose money even if you predict the direction correctly. So I took this screenshot earlier today, and you can see that the calls on Tesla fell anywhere from 50% to 80%, and the puts fell anywhere from 45% all the way to 90%. So the calls and the puts lost money, both of them. And pretty much this comes down to is earnings expectation. So this is why I hate playing earnings, and it's because you can predict the direction correctly and still lose money. And pretty much before stock reports earnings, everyone expects the stock to move a set percentage. So with Tesla, I think it was around 15% to the upside or the downside by Friday, right? And Tesla clearly did not move that much. It only moved 5% to the downside. So that's why we saw the calls and the puts fall. However, with Intel, they were only expecting a 4% move to the downside by this Friday, and they saw a 10% move. So the puts would skyrocket in this case. So I just want to point that out to everyone so you can avoid making mistakes like this in the future. Earnings, you can sometimes predict the direction correctly and still lose money. So definitely keep that in mind. So now for the Discord member of the day. So Tom, if you could pull up our member of the day today. Our member of the day is Hav96. So this guy is an amazing guy, amazing member of the Discord community. He wrote an amazing post yesterday in the Profits channel. But seriously though, Javier is an amazing guy. He had some nice growth on his Robinhood account too. If you want to pull up those screenshots, Tom. You could see, he's growing his Robinhood account very nicely. So awesome job. And then the other screenshot too, Tom. Overall, Javier is an amazing guy, extremely positive person. I'm very, very happy to have him in the Discord community. So awesome job, and thank you for all your, positivity and good vibes in the Discord. So now for the momentum plays for tomorrow. And the first one we're looking at is the powerhouse Spotify. So Spotify absolutely just got killed today, down close to 8%, closed right at lows. So pretty much we were just eyeing Spotify for a continuation down tomorrow. Tom, what levels should we be watching?
I'd really watch for it to go ahead and pop below 266.75.
Yep, so if it breaks below that level, we'll be eyeing Spotify to the downside. And with the next momentum play, we are watching Apple again.
Yep, watch for Apple to go ahead and pop below $368.
Yep, again to the downside. And then we have Google.
All right. Do you want me to do the one with the L?
It doesn't matter. I mean, GOOG and GOOGL are pretty much the same thing, but for purposes right now, we'll just do GOOGL.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and watch for them to fall below about 1508.
1508. Again, we're eyeing it to the downside, and then we are last momentum play is Square, SQ.
Yeah, this one will be very nice if they break this low of 121.25.
Yep, again to the downside. So we are only considering these plays only if they break below the levels we list to the downside. We're only considering playing them only if they break below the levels we list to the downside. So let's say they do break the levels, we would consider buying puts or shorting the stock. They are intended to be day trades, basically just like a nice ride of momentum, nice continuation. So keep that in mind. So now for the $6.3 million options trade that expires tomorrow. We are looking at the Apple $367.50 puts that expire tomorrow, July 24th. So there's a total of about $6.3 million put into this play. Overall, Apple had a horrible day, down about 4.5%, recovering slightly in after hours. But overall, it's really hard to gauge whether the smart money is shorting this play or longing the play. And to be completely honest with you, like, I have no sentiment on this play. But for everyone considering, playing Apple tomorrow, I just want you guys to be aware of this. So basically, someone put about $6.3 million into the Apple $367.50 puts, right? We just don't know if they're shorting those options or they are buying those options. So just like stocks, you could buy a stock or you could short a stock. Same thing with options. So we just don't know if they are buying the options or shorting them. So that's the main problem here. To be honest, the way I would play this play, because we don't know if they are buying the options or shorting them, I would kind of just watch Apple at market open, the first hour of market open. If it's very weak, then I would definitely consider getting the Apple puts, right? However, if Apple's showing, positive movement, a lot of upwards movement, then I would definitely not even consider the Apple puts right here. It's just kind of like, you have to feel it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It would definitely be a hard trade, especially in the morning tomorrow. So that's why Mike's trying to say, just watch it out, guys. You're going to have to feel it out in the morning on Apple. And if anything, just sit on the sidelines on it and watch and make it a learning experience if you're not very experienced, feeling trades out.
Yep, for sure. Exactly. I mean, sometimes the best trade is to take no trade. So awesome insight. So now for the comments from the previous episode. So we have Skeezy saying, hey guys, what do the technicals say about Tesla? I didn't see too much of a jump after earnings and now a consolidation. Do you see a bouncing upwards, and how reliable are the technicals when compared to everyone's emotions here? So Tom, I will definitely let you cover this question.
Yeah, I personally really love the technicals. That's really all I trade with. I mean, I know a lot of people like to trade off of news and stuff like that. Obviously, the news will help certain stocks and stuff, but I just like to go for the solid technical setups. And personally, I think that it's a lot better than going for emotional type of trades. But at the same time, with Tesla right now, I definitely don't see them popping. In the short term, anyways. I think that this $1,800 level will be very hard for them to break. And whenever you see stocks run up from 350, all the way up to $1,800, that's kind of like whenever you would expect them to start going down. And this honestly looks like a pretty bearish setup that I've seen in the past on stocks that run up like this, where they try to come back up to their highs and they can't quite make it, and then they fall back down. And especially falling down on earnings, that's really bad for Tesla. So I really think that Tesla could start to pull back here. I do see Tesla actually in the long term coming back down maybe to $1,200 or $1,100 before it starts going back up again.
I mean, that would be awesome if Tesla does take a dip. I mean, it'd be awesome to grab some shares, for the long term, if that does happen. And I even see some pretty big resistance at the $1,675 level too. So maybe just to give the audience a better reading, what are some support levels, or what levels are you watching for Tesla?
Okay, yeah, definitely. On a daily level, I like to watch for that for a lot of intraday bounces, I would like to say. So I would really watch right here for 1430 as more of a long like a swing trade if you were going to look at that. Or with the momentum to the downside, it could end up hitting that tomorrow. And that's also you can see how it consolidated on these 3 days. It kind of hit right on that 1430 level and then fell down, and then also it hit 1430 right here and then tried to retest highs and then ended up coming back down to where we're at now. So that's why I would place this support at 1430. And then if we go onto an intraday level, I would really watch for Tesla to break the low it had today of 1480, and then I could definitely see a fall back down towards 1430, which I have plotted on the chart. And to the upside, yeah, I really like that at 1675. That's a solid. This is definitely a solid level right here to watch. It was a double top up here, and then we just tanked down off of earnings. So if we do go to the upside, you might be able to catch a good swing tomorrow if you do see good momentum. But I wouldn't bank on it breaking, maybe the $1,700 level. But if you do see it going down, I would go ahead and watch for it to fall, maybe down to 1430, where I have that support at, just on an intraday level. Just keep that in mind. If it might go further than that, but it'll probably take a couple of days.
For sure. And then we have Boss saying, what software do you use to check stocks? We both use Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade. And then we have Jones saying, what about Ford stock? So, Tom, what do you think about Ford? I know you've been following it for a couple days now.
Yeah, I've been following Ford. They have a really good setup on a daily chart. You can see it's a long-term triangle right here, and they're kind of bouncing off of this lower trend line back to the upper trend line. But the thing is that they're kind of getting close to this upper trend right now. And if they do hit that, I would almost see them consolidate into the middle of this triangle. If I was going to trade this, I personally would probably sit out tomorrow. I have been talking about it over the past few days, so it could have been, a good opportunity during that time. But right now, I would sit out, especially leading into earnings. That's just something where you don't really know what's going to happen. Look, everybody thought Tesla was going to go up with earnings, and they kind of did. They went up in after hours, but then they just had the big red, negative 5% candle on the day, and that's just how earnings is. Sometimes it's the flip of a coin, and like in Tesla's case, it actually went up in after hours and then fell whenever the market opened this morning. And whenever you have stocks going up and then falling on earnings, that's just an uncertain time, and I personally would not trade stocks and hold them through earnings right now.
Yep. And then with the next comment, we have Robert saying, can you guys give me your thoughts on VSLR? So VSLR is definitely having an amazing uptrend and an amazing year so far. I mean, they went from lows of about $3 to right now being at over $23. So they're definitely having an amazing year. And Tom, what I think is very interesting about this stock is, for the last, over pretty much the last month, there's only been 3 red days.
Yeah, this is insane. This is like how we had Apple have like 11 green days in a row a while ago, but this is like Apple on steroids right here, rising from $14 up to $24 like within a few days. This is crazy. I've never seen, this many green days in a row. Normally I would see like, maybe some red dojis or something,
Right.
at least on the way up, like right here.
Yep. So, VSLR has a ton of momentum. There's no way to pick the top on this. Overall, I mean, ride the trend. I mean, it's definitely trending up with a lot of momentum. Personally, I would never buy in. It kind of, I feel like this can turn at any second or any day, I should say. So I personally wouldn't buy this, but I think this can be great for day trades.
Yeah, definitely. It would play very well for day traders. I wish I would have seen it, on the rise up back here. Nobody was really calling this one out very much. This would have been a great stock to trade over the past month.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the next comment, we have Pastor saying, kaboom, thoughts on WFC. So let's take a look. WFC. So wow, I mean, the financial sector had a very flat day today. You look at Citigroup, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, WFC. I mean, they're all pretty flat today, but considering the market overall fell about 350 points today, I mean, I'm definitely not bullish on WFC, and considering WFC is one of the worst performing stocks in the financial sector, if anything, I'd be slightly bearish, but if anything, I'm pretty neutral on WFC. If anything, slightly bearish. What do you think?
Yeah, all these financial stocks look like they're really just flat today, like you said, and it looks like they're like they haven't recovered, obviously from the virus like other stocks have. So maybe over the next like few months slash year, I think that the financial sector could end up recovering and going up, for the long term if you were looking to get in, on the long term level. But on an intraday level, I do kind of like this to the upside still. It's kind of flat, and it held its ground today as all these tech stocks had bad earnings, which is nice to see.
Yeah, personally, I'm just gonna stay away from WFC. It's too risky for me. If I did invest in the financial sector, it'd probably be with like Citigroup, JP Morgan, or like Goldman Sachs or something like that. So with that being said, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market tomorrow?
Yeah, I know SPCE is the one everybody's been talking about again. And I know I got in on it yesterday and held it, as we had this pop this morning. I know a few other guys did as well, and we ended up selling up here at the top. And this was a very nice trade. I really liked all the D jokes in the chat today, guys. That really made my day. I'm just letting you guys know that. I love all you guys out there in the Discord. It's nice to see you guys out there making some funny jokes like that. Obviously, we don't want to see those all the time, but they're really funny to see nonetheless.
Yep. And then just one thing with the tech sector I want to go over. I'm sure everyone's wondering, what's going on with Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, the NASDAQ overall. Is it going to keep falling? Is it going to rise? What's the deal, right? And the way I look at the tech sector right now is I think there is a lot of room for, the tech sector overall to dip, or at least, have a decent pullback. We saw a lot of these tech stocks fall on earnings. We're seeing a lot of selling in the market overall. There's not the best overall economic news right now. The tech sector is not the same as it was for the past 3 weeks. For the past anywhere from, you could even say from, May to all of June, the tech sector was solid. It was a powerhouse. But, you look at NASDAQ for the past 2 weeks and it's been pretty flat, and there's been some pretty large red days, right? So the tech sector is definitely shifting a little bit. And overall, I think there's some room for the tech sector to fall. However, that does not mean that the tech sector is going to fall tomorrow. So, let's say like with Apple, for example, just because I'm slightly, I'm pretty bearish on the tech sector right now, that doesn't mean Apple has to fall tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the NASDAQ and tech stocks like Apple or Microsoft or Amazon or Google or anything like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little update tomorrow. Overall, I think the trend is definitely in our favor. And for the next 2 to 3, I would say like 3 to 5 days, I think there's a strong probability of stocks like Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon falling. I think there's a very strong probability of that happening, but that does not necessarily mean it's going to fall tomorrow. We did have a huge fall in the market today, and right now futures are currently flat. NASDAQ futures are also currently flat. So, there's no way to give a prediction what's going to happen the very next day. But overall, in in the short term, I think there is a very high probability of tech stocks like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple falling in the short term. So keep that in mind. So any last things, Tom? Anything?
Yeah, one thing I would actually like to add to that is that we see all these financial stocks, they have not recovered well from the virus, and all these tech stocks, obviously, a lot of them have over recovered. So one thing that I really think is going to happen over the next few months, I know you were talking more short term, but I'm going to go more of out long term here. For the next few months, I think that we're going to kind of see the markets kind of equal out, guys. I think that we're going to kind of see the tech stocks maybe come down, and maybe the financial stocks will slowly start rising. And I think they're going to kind of, equal each other out again to where, the SPY looks like it would have recovered the same on the chart, for example, as the NASDAQ. I think the markets are just a little out of whack right now, and they just have to kind of get back to equilibrium.
Right, exactly. So that does not mean a crash, guys. Tom's basically saying we might see tech stocks fall a little bit, and we might see financial stocks rise a little bit, because there's just a huge discrepancy between the two right now. So keep that in mind. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tom and I really appreciate all of the support you guys give to the channel through the form of hitting that like button. It takes like 2 seconds. So if you guys could just hit that like button, comments really help grow the channel too. So we're so grateful for all of you guys. Thank you so much for hitting the like button and commenting and subscribing. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see our daily videos on your YouTube homepage every single day. And if you guys want to trade the same options that Tom and I trade every single day, click the StockedUp options alerts link in the description down below. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.